It was a young woman, probably in her early 30s. It was hard to tell. She was stressed out on a sofa with large amounts of fat rolling off the sides. She was seriously, morbidly obese. She talked about how she truly wants to be in shape, but just doesn't have enough time to go to the gym, and diets don't work for her. While talking, she continued to eat off a large plate of rich food. We both know she'll probably never lose a single pound. In reality, the weight carried by this woman would prevent her even getting off the couch by her own effort, as indeed she mentioned. When it comes to weight control, there's this underlying disconnect between what we think is possible and what reality says is not. What is too much fat and what is not. Even more important, what actually makes us fat and what doesn't. The conversation about weight control skirts the problem and never offers a logical, common sense solution. After almost 50 years of endless diets and weight loss programs, most people realize diets, all kinds of diets, cannot and will never work. There's a simple logical reason which most of us know, yet even now we still get that short breath of hope when we hear about the latest new successful diet. It's different. It might just work, we think. But it doesn't work. All it does is give us a short burst of hope. So why don't diets work? Weight control is not designed to be done from outside. The fact is, it can only work from within. The real truth about weight control is that it was always designed to run from within by our own body, using our intuitive eating system that's designed to control our weight. We know it works because it kept us slim and healthy for centuries. But that system was broken by an industry that wanted access to our diet at any cost. All that stood in its way was our basic instinct, intuitive eating. To that industry, this had to be stopped. This quickly led to ways to create a smooth transfer from basic biology to modern pseudoscience, which is the principle that underpins the silly weight loss theories and all the promises we still see today. It supports one of the biggest industries in the world. It encourages a multitude of self-nominated diet experts who seem to believe their own kitchen table theories. But above all, the truth is muddied and misrepresented when it comes to the right food to eat. For 50 years, that secret has been firmly protected to aid and support an industry that has been allowed to treat us all as a resource to be used and exploited purely for commercial reasons to support and strengthen an industry. That's why it's a secret. So let me briefly illustrate why you can be absolutely certain that diets will never work. 50 years ago, it was still normal to be slim and healthy. The only exception were the people who had a thyroid condition or were diagnosed with diabetes type A. That's a disease that has always affected around 10% of the population worldwide. You probably also know all about diabetes type 2, but the most important thing about that disease is that it didn't exist till 50 years ago, and neither did obesity. So what was so different 50 years ago? First, back then, nobody in their right mind would ever diet. Why? Keeping our body slim and healthy was never meant to be our job. The only thing we had to do to keep a slim body was to eat the right food. How did we know those foods? Our basic instinct, intuitive eating, guided us to the foods our digestive system was designed to process. This simple, intuitive system kept us slim and healthy for centuries. I want to give you a short explanation of what changed and why that made us go from being naturally slim and healthy to how we are today, all heading towards being fat, obese, and unhealthy, as is already a reality for around 60% of the population. Around 50 years ago, on the sidelines was a medium-sized business watching and waiting for an opportunity to move from breakfast cereal to taking over all the foods we eat every day. They had created their own research facilities where they succeeded in creating a cocktail of chemicals that produced an instant response from test subjects who immediately wanted more. They called it the bliss point. That news announcement disappeared almost immediately. This was an industry poised to launch a vast amount of unnatural processed foods laced with a cocktail of chemicals that guaranteed their products would be irresistible. Thus, food addiction was born. This industry was ready to take over the world of food. So when an opportunity to break intuitive eating dropped into their lap, everything changed. We were confronted with the most brutal, direct attack to our health since polio. It has left a legacy of an obesity epidemic, diabetes type 2, and several cancers and other diseases. This brutal industry has almost succeeded in reaching their goal: to own all our foods. Take a good look around in your local supermarket. Natural, real foods are fast disappearing, and ever more shelves are stocked with unnatural, manufactured foods. You need only look to see their success in action. Make no mistake, if these people had their way, everybody will be obese by the end of the century. That prospect could lead to our virtual extinction. We're literally eating ourselves to death. Nobody's trying to stop us because that would interfere with economics and profitable turnovers for the industries that keep us fat and addicted. Nobody is going to stop this catastrophe. But you can stop it within your own home. You can cure your family and learn how to insulate your children from ever having to learn about things like obesity and diabetes type 2. It's not too late to take action to protect yourself and your family. It's not too late to learn the right foods that your body requires to keep you slim and healthy for life. But what you need before you can act is the detailed story of what actually happened 50 years ago that destroyed our basic instinct, intuitive eating, that had kept us slim and healthy for centuries. Know the story and you'll know the solution. Just download the free report. It'll ensure we have your email. You'll then be certain to get a free invitation to the webinar, The 3 World Events That Made Us Fat. It'll be launched as soon as we have enough subscribers to fill the room. I hope to see you there.